and welcome to episode 8 of Pistol Pete's training. So for today's episode, we're actually going to be taking a break from answering some of the questions sending in, and we're going to address the topic, something that's really close to myself and something that I feel needs to be talked about a lot more across the whole world, not just in the sales aspect, but across life in general, and that is the importance of having a positive attitude. Okay, so this episode, I'm hoping during this episode, this is where people are going to have that epiphany, have that realization that if you are where you want to be, it is because of you. If you are not where you want to be, that is also because of you. And that is 10% of that is your skill and your work rate, but 90% of that is your attitude. So if you're not where you want to be, it is because of your attitude. If you want a better business life, a higher income, more wealth, better relationships, health, it is all down to your attitude. Shape your attitude and you can shape your life. If you want a better life, then get a better attitude. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about a book called The Secret. A lot of you may have heard of this, but we're going to break through some of the hoopla of it and really get down to the actual biology and the science of it and give the actual raw facts of how you can help use that to change your life and change your attitude. And I'm also going to be announcing a challenge at the end of the episode. It's something that I want you guys to take up. I've actually done this within my own business in the last week, and we have nearly times our sales by, I think, 50%. They've actually gone up compared to the week before, and that's just in the sales side. Through people's attitudes in general, talking to individuals that have took this challenge upon them, they have seen a massive difference in their attitude change and just how they're actually enjoying life in general. So this is what we're focusing on today, guys, and we're going to jump in to begin with by talking about The Secret. So The Secret, guys, is a book as well as a film that talks about the law of attraction. If you want to see this in a little bit more detail, if you simply search in YouTube The Secret first 10 minutes or first 20 minutes, it gives you a little bit of an easy outline of what the whole book is talking about. But cutting right through that to give you the real basics of it, it talks about the law of attraction. So whatever I think and whatever I think about, I will send out these signals, and that will actually attract what I'm thinking about towards me. So if I think about money, then I'll be attracting money. If I think about car accidents, I'll attract a car accident. So it does sound quite hoopla, and a lot of people will go, yeah, whatever. But at the same time, if you cut through this, and I do recommend go check out the first 10 minutes of that to really understand what The Secret is all about. But if you cut through it, you actually talks about a thing interestingly called the RAS. It's the reticular activating system. So looking at science and biology, the reticular activating system is something that's actually a part of our brain. Now, every single second, our brain is processing information. We actually pick up about 11 million bits of information from our different senses that gets sent to our brain to process. Now, that's a lot of information, but our conscious brain can only process 50 bits of information. So 11 million bits of information gets sent to our brain, and only 50 of that bits of information our conscious brain can actually work on. So how that actually gets filtered is due to the reticular activating system. It filters down what we want to process. For example, if at the moment now you are paying attention to my voice in this video, but if you pause it for a second, the video, and actually have a little listen around your room, or if you're in a room that's near the outside of a building, try and see if you can hear something that's outside of a building, maybe a car or a neighbour talking outside or just a bird outside. Now you can now hear that information and you can process that because you've put that in your reticular activating system. It's what you're listening for. But that same bit of information, that same noise and everything was still there. It was still actually getting processed through your brain. It's just that your RAS didn't actually allow your conscious brain to focus on it. So if you can bring your RAS back into obviously me, this also thinks and talks about in other stuff. Have you ever noticed that when you go out and buy a certain car or buy a certain bit of clothing, suddenly you see this item everywhere? Yeah, and obviously it's that famous syndrome. It's what's happening with the RAS, that because you're noticing it, it's on your brain, what you do is you start noticing that, and it stands out a lot more from that bits of information that we can process. So if you can train your brain and train that RAS to be focused for positives and opportunities, and for example, as The Secret book says, if you can look at it for money or relationships or health, you'll start noticing it a lot more around you. But it isn't because you're just thinking about it, it happens. There needs to be hard work applied in that, but what it allows you to do is see it and notice it a lot more. So that's what the biology of this side is. So The Secret, amazing book. It is very hoopla in my opinion, but if you cut to the source of it, RAS is really important. It's what you're noticing and what you're actually processing. So now that you guys understand the RAS, you can understand how this actually shapes your life and how important it is to have a positive attitude. Because depending on what your attitude and your state is, it depends on what your RAS will actually be seeking out. If you have a positive attitude, then your RAS will be seeking out positivity. If you have an optimistic attitude, your RAS will be looking for opportunities and looking for that optimism. But on the other side, if you're someone that's a pessimist or with a negative attitude, your RAS will be filtering the information to justify and get all the evidence that backs up obviously those claims. So now that you understand the RAS, guys, you can understand how a positive attitude does shape your entire life, and I am a prime example of this. I am a massive positivity guy. I'm a massive endorsement of positivity, but also optimism. Amazing examples that I've seen time and time again. I actually went travelling from England about 7 years ago with two friends. One very neutral, like positive and negative at the same time, but one of my friends who self-proclaimed was a pessimist when travelling. And we would always be together, so we'd be going through the exact same situations, have about the same amount of income and so on. But whenever we were faced with a situation where my one friend would view it pessimistically, saying, it's over, we're going to have to go home, I'd view the exact same situation, be like, nah, we'll be okay, we're going to land on our feet, everything will sort itself out. And lo and behold, I normally would go, no, look, I'm going to sort this, I'll organise something for us. And lo and behold, we'd always fall onto our feet and be absolutely fine. Hence why I am where I am and where my friends are still here over the other country doing very well for themselves. The reason we kept landing on our feet is due to my RAS. Myself, I was incredibly lucky, as people would say. They said I kept finding the best jobs or getting the best pays or always having the best interactions with certain managers to keep getting the most amount of hours. And all it was due to was my RAS. My RAS was seeking out opportunities, and because I was a positive and an optimistic person, I saw opportunities and I saw chances to actually take in all the positives around me. Due to their RAS and their attitude being different, their RAS actually eliminated that bit of information. Remember, like I said in the last segment, 11 million bits of information going into our brain to process. We could actually only focus on 50 of those bits of information of 11 million. So with mine seeking out opportunity, I saw those opportunities around me and I was able to take them and land onto my feet. Where my friends sometimes missed out on that opportunities, and this isn't just my opinion, this is words that came straight from my friend's mouth. And since he actually changed that and he understood that optimism side, obviously he's been doing a lot more successful for himself. And that's how important it is, guys. So if you can understand that RAS and actually start shaping it, that's how you can start seeing opportunities that other people will miss. You'll start to become that lucky person. And it isn't anything to do with luck. This isn't hoopla. This is actual science. This is facts. Whether you believe it or not, you might be one of those people that goes, oh, rubbish, it's just how it is. Keep believing that way, but that's an opinion. This isn't opinions what I'm talking about. This is biology, this is science, this is fact. The RAS will process that information, only allow you to see so much. So in the next segment, I'm going to actually show you how you can have this realization, this epiphany. Hopefully you've had it and you're starting to understand, you know what, I want to start taking control of my life and shaping it. And I'm going to give you the tools to do that in the next segment, and we can obviously grow together as a team. So what's next, guys? Well, what's next is the how. So you've heard of the saying, you are what you eat. Well, in this segment, I'm going to tell you definitely are what you surround yourself with. Your attitude is shaped by those around you. And actually, there's a lot of facts backing up that you are actually the average of your 5 closest friends or family members around that you hang out with. So if you're hanging around with 5 very highly successful people, the chances are that you're going to be successful. 5 very unsuccessful people, chances are that you'll be unsuccessful. They've actually done research that when you add your average income of your 5 closest friends and family members, divided by the 5, you'll probably have landed on what your income is. It's that important, guys. So, I don't know where you're living, who you've got around you, who your friends and families are, but it does not make a difference. The challenge that I am going to offer out here is going to bypass all of this and surround you and feed you with the right bits of information you need to change your life. So this is a 2-part challenge, guys. The first one is what we call the 5-minute journal. Now, the 5-minute journal was used by myself and it created the most productive year that I've had in my entire life. It was a massive change and it really just created and shaped my life and got my RAS in the right position every single day. So the 5-minute journal is an easy task. It takes no more than 5 minutes each day. 2 or 3 minutes in the morning, 2 or 3 minutes at night time. what you do is you can actually download an app, a 5-minute journal, type it into the app store if you're on an iPhone, you'll be able to easily ping that up. It's $2-3 I paid for it, but even better, at that time I just used a pen and paper. You can go old school with this. What you do is in the morning, as soon as you wake up, before you press that snooze button, before you start checking social media, your texts, your emails, all the rest of the fucking shit that surrounds us, this negative that just gets around us in life, what you are going to be doing as soon as that alarm goes off, you turn it off, you pick up a pen and paper, and you immediately turn to a page and you write down 3 things that you appreciate in your life. And you can be specific with this. You can even write down the 3 things you appreciate and the reasons why you appreciate those things. Now, every single day this needs to be different. You can't continually repeat the same thing. Every couple of weeks, if it's a person or an act or something like that, that can pop up again, absolutely. But maybe different reasons why you appreciate that then. But what I want you to do is start actively thinking. In the first couple of days, this will be easy. You might put down my health or my partner or my family and so on. Very easy early on, but as the days go by, you're actually going to start working your brain to actually think about the stuff that you appreciate. What it does is immediately sets up your RAS and sets up your brain to be gratitude and obviously an appreciation, and it puts you in a positive mindset straight away. So 3 things that you appreciate. The other thing that you're going to write down is 1 task that you're going to complete today. So a lot of the times we get mixed up with so many different goals and so many different tasks, we get overwhelmed and we cannot RAS filter through this information to achieve these goals, and we haven't got the time of day. So pick 1 thing that you're going to achieve that day, the most important thing that you want to achieve. Now this could be a task, or it could even be something as simple as making 5 people smile during the day or something like this, but you're going to set 1 task and you're going to be achieving that day. And what happens, your RAS will filter this to allow you to achieve it. And then at night time, guys, just before you go to sleep, just before you go to bed, you're not going to be checking your social media. You're going to be writing down 3 things that you did amazing that day. Now, every single day there'll be stuff that we could always improve, but unless we've got a DeLorean and we can gun it to go back in time, you're not going to be able to fucking change it. So leave it behind, but I want you to focus on the 3 things that you've done amazing that day. And start realizing, even on the worst of days, when you were feeling that it's the worst day that you've had, there'll be 3 things that you've definitely achieved that day and done amazing. So I want you to write those 3 things down. And then what you're going to do when you wake up in the morning again, grab that pen and paper straight away, or grab that app on the phone, straight away go into it. Now, the reason I like pen and paper, it stops you getting distracted on your phone. You'll see text messages, you'll see emails, you'll be tempted to click on Facebook, just like your routine and just like obviously technology has programmed you to do. But pen and paper allows it a lot easier to write that information down without getting distracted by this. So that is task number 1. It's the 5-minute journal, guys. This will prep you and start realizing the stuff that you appreciate and the gratitude, and give you perspective that the amazing life that you're actually living, it is not as bad as you think it is. You've got it pretty fucking good. And number 2, this is how I'm going to surround you with more people, even if those people aren't around you in your friends and family circle. I'm going to set you a task of every single day, 30 minutes I want you to put aside. Now you can break this into 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes if you want, or 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. I always find 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night really sets me up well, just like the 5-minute journal. But if you need a little booster in the middle, absolutely do a little bit more reading. But what I'm going to do is I want you to read some information from a good self-help book. That doesn't mean just grabbing any old book off the shelf, the Harry Potters. I want you actually reading information. So I want you to easily Google search top 10 self-help books, or most recognized and successful self-help books. A couple that I mentioned in recent episodes. There's one called The Art of Thinking Clearly, another one called The Art of a Good Life, both by Rolf Dobelli. There's another book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, an amazing book that I actually love and really light and easy read. Grab some of these books and this information, and 30 minutes, what you're doing is you're going to be processing positivity and useful information into your brain instead of crap that you're seeing on social media. What I also recommend is don't read the fucking news. No one gives a shit and it's all negative, and a lot of it is just emulated and obviously actually eccentric just to get more obviously attention and more media. That's why it's amplification. It's what they do to sell. They need to make money. The news is a business. It isn't just an information source anymore. So read information that's actually going to give you the benefits and allow you to train your RAS into a positive state of mind. And I want you to do this challenge. Now make a pledge to yourself. Don't just do this half-heartedly, one day off. Make the promise that you're going to do it. Trust me, if you do this, you'll see a massive change in your life. And if you want to change in wealth, in health, in finance, relationships, you'll start noticing it because you'll change that RAS. It's all biology, guys. And you'll start noticing a lot more opportunity around you that you didn't see before. So take this challenge. And what I want you doing is please email in pistolpetetraining@gmail.com. I want to hear how your week's changed, stuff that you've started noticing that you haven't noticed before. I want to hear the feedback for you guys. Jump on the Instagram at Pistol Pete Training. I want you guys filtering information through to me. I want to see how your lives have started to change when you've taken this pledge. And even jump on the bottom of the video if you want to make the pledge and make it, announce it as well. Say that you're going to take this pledge, take this challenge, and yet see how our lives can change for the better, guys. So click subscribe on the video below, guys. Send this video on if you've got friends and family that need to hear this information, that you know could be doing so much more with that one life that they have. Send it through to them. Yet start spreading positivity, guys, and as a team, yet start achieving a lot more. So thanks so much for joining us for episode 8, guys. A massive passion for me, this. Thanks so much for staying in tune, and hopefully a lot of you are going to be taking this challenge and starting to change your lives as well. See you on episode 9 next week.